everyone, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 37 of the Ollie and Bella podcast, and my name is Sherrie, and it's been quite a while since my previous episode. I had a quick look, and when I was making my notes for this episode, I went back, and the last time I filmed a podcast was back in April, so it's been just over 3 months, so it's been a little while. So as you can imagine, I've got a few new things to show you, and yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some time with you. So I will do a quick introduction, and then I think I'll go straight into my whips. I've just got a few whips to share with you today, but just in case this is the first time that you are watching, you can find me on Instagram as Ollie and Bella. You can find me over on Patreon. I do have my own Patreon channel, and I currently have a 7-day free trial over there at the minute. So if you sign up, you can unlock all the videos that are over there and watch all of them. I'll leave links down below to everywhere that you can find me. You can find me on Goodreads. So if you enjoy reading, I am over there, and I've got books to share with you at the end as well. So if you are a avid book reader and you enjoy reading, keep watching to the end. And where else can you find me? I think that's it. And Ravelry. I do have Ravelry pages for most of the projects that I'm going to show you, but if you have any questions or there's something that I've not covered, then please leave a comment down below and I will try my best to get back to you. But if not, head over to Ravelry if you use Ravelry, and hopefully maybe the information that you need might be over there. I think I will probably do a little life update chat. I'll leave that till the end. So I feel like I've got a few things to chat to you about because there's been lots that's happened. So I will save that till the end. So if you're here just for the yarny, crafty goodness, that's absolutely fine. But then if you want to stay till the end and have a little chat, or listen to me chat, then carry on watching. I normally do books, TV, happy mail, and then I can do like a little catch up with you right at the end. So, but let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with my socks. I've got 2 socks and 2 blankets to share with you. And my first one I have got in my Christmas project bag, and I picked these Christmas socks back up again because it's been July and I've been wanting to get them finished, and I thought Christmas in July is a good time to do it. Let me know if you join in with Christmas in July. I think it's a fun excuse to get your Christmas yarns out. Not that you need an excuse, because I think you can knit with whatever yarns you want to knit with whenever. It doesn't matter, does it? I have got my socks on the same needles. So I'm knitting these 2 at a time. And I'm going to get myself in an absolute muddle, but there you can see, knitting them 2 at a time. And the yarn was my 2023, it was the Advent from the Yarn Badger, and it's called Deck the Halls. You can see they're both separated, which is brilliant. So they already arrived as 250-gram skeins, and you can see I'm now on the heel flap on this sock, and I'm going to do everything on the needles. I'm not going to take each sock off and do the needles, decreases and pop them back on. I'm going to do everything on the socks. So do you think I might get them done? There's only a few more days left now. I think when you knit socks, once you're past the heel section, I don't mind the heels, once you're past the heel section of a sock, I think the sock doesn't take long at all. So hopefully they will be done. I'm sure they'll be done next time. Hopefully it won't be another 3 months before I film a podcast. That is not the plan. And secondly, I've got some shorties in my Elizabeth Scarlet pouch. These pouches are great for storing so many different things in them. I've been using I've got 2 pouches. I've been using them to hold projects in them, to hold journaling in them, your Kindle, you could hold makeup, just like a little bag organizer, like a little tidy up. And I will leave a link down below, because if you use the link down below, it has a 10% affiliate link, it is basically. So if you click on it, it will send you over to Elizabeth Scarlett, and you can have a look at all the different designs over there, and you get 10% off. So have a look. This one is their floral alphabet pouch, but there's lots of different designs over there and different size pouches as well, and they make really lovely gifts. Okay, next up I am knitting the Serene Socks, which is a pattern by Kim from 3 by the Sea Designs. So let me find the front page, because I actually printed out the front page, which I don't normally do. And it's a really beautiful textured pattern. The great thing about this pattern, Kim has done the pattern for 4-ply fingering weight yarn or DK, which is brilliant. Just had a funny 5 minutes because trying to pronounce the word 4-ply, I keep saying floor ply. Oh dear, a bit rusty. Anyway, I'm knitting on fingering weight yarn, and I've got the sock set here, and this is Tea in Wonderland, which is a sock set by 3 by the Sea, and I thought that was just perfect. Pattern in yarn, I thought went hand in hand. And let me show you how beautiful this yarn is, because the colours in this yarn, well, it's magical. So this is the main colourway, which is for the main part of the sock, and then you've got a contrasting mini here, which is this black one, which is called Stark Raven Mad. I have got a progress keeper on the front here as well, which is so cute because this has the Eiffel Tower in. This sock set was very kindly sent to me by Kim, and we've been chatting lots, and it was really lovely because I had mentioned that we are off to Disney at the end of the year, and Disney Paris, and it was so sweet when she popped in that little cute progress keeper. I thought it was really lovely, so I've popped that on the front. These are going to be for myself, and so I'm on the gusset decreases at the moment. I've done a really short leg. I can't remember how many rounds are here. I will try, let's write that as a note now on my book. I'm not sure if I've done a page for this one on Ravelry, a project page, so I will do that. And I've used the contrasting colour there, which is at the base, or just before I start the actual leg. I've used the Stark Raven Mad, and then I've used it for the heel flap, and then I've picked up my gusset decreases in the main colour. But it is such a beautiful texture on the front. And the cute little Eiffel Tower. Has anyone been watching the Olympics? I did see on Instagram, 3 by the Sea, I did see they had some really cool Olympic themed project bags and charms, and was there a sock set or a mini skein set? I think there was, which looked really sweet. So pop all that in there. So they're shorties for myself, and the plan is to knit them up in time to take them and wear them for Disney. Okay, let's move on to blankets. I have got a crochet blanket, and I've also got a knitted blanket to chat to you about. And let's start with this one first, which is the crochet one. Now, all of the yarns that are in this blanket are part of the Secret Blanket Treasure Box Club from Green Lambkin Yarns. And each month, Suzanne sends out 4 skeins of DK weight yarn, and they're a total surprise as to what colours there'll be each month. And it's been so lovely seeing the different colours and working with DK weight yarn for a blanket has been really enjoyable. So I am currently on, what month are we? We are July. Yeah. So these ones here that I'm just adding on now are June's yarns, and the pattern, well, it's a tutorial, it's more of a tutorial. I'm sure I would have spoke about this in my previous episode, and there is a pattern, there's a project page for this, and I will link to the tutorial as well down below. The tutorial is called Corner to Corner Join As You Go Crochet Blanket. I think that is correct. And on my notes I've got here that the tutorial is by the Spider Fibre, and I will leave a link down, like I say, down to his tutorial, because he has such a good tutorial where he's showing you how you join up each square. And the great thing about this type of pattern are the fact that the ends, there's only going to ever be 2 ends to sew in, which I love. And this is going to be for Jessie. I've decided to do them in blocks, like blocks of 4. So the first 4 down here would have been January, these 4, and then you would have then move across to February. I mean, when I've done all this, I know no one's going to be bothered what month is what. February, March, and then up here May, and then, like I say, I was on June there. So I've done, I think it was 6 squares along the bottom, 2, 4, 6, yeah, so there's six squares wide, and I use the entire 20-gram ball. There's literally not a lot left over, which is great. So it means there's less leftovers, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a really lovely tutorial. Definitely recommend it. And even if you don't, you know, if you're not joined to a club, it doesn't matter, you know, this would be great for stash busting. Absolutely. If you've got lots of yarns, and you could even use 4-ply fingering weight yarn and hold it double, that would be really great if you wanted to do that. That's another option. And that's all in this really cute little project bag, which is also by 3 by the Sea. It has lots of lovely colourful sweets on. I just thought it was really nice to go with the colourful yarns. So there's that one. And then my final whip that I'm going to share with you, I've got stored in this really cute little, it's handmade. I don't know what it's actually made of, but we'll say it's like a raffia. I'm not sure. Not really sure actually what it is. Let me know if you have an idea what this is made out of. It's really hard wearing. It's got the little protectors on the corners. It's beautifully made. And I got this in Cyprus because we have literally just been to Cyprus. We got back a few days ago, and I've been after a nice bag that can hold my patchwork blanket in. I just thought that was perfect when I saw it. So let's take it out. It's currently still in its previous home. Has like a little drawstring top to it if you wanted to cover it up. Okay, let's open this up because I have done quite a few new squares actually. Got things dropping out everywhere. Don't take any notice of all the ends. Lots of ends. That's how it's looking at the minute. I've joined the next colour on here, and I have loved this so much. It's such an enjoyable little project that at the moment, with it being little, I can still carry it around with me and take it places, and it's so nice to see the different colours on the squares, and yeah, it's been an absolute joy to knit. Also inside the basket I've got this cute little brown paper bag which has a handful of scraps in, and these scraps have come all the way from Denmark. I did a really fun swap with Malene from Playful. It was so lovely. I waited until her parcel arrived before I opened mine, and then we'd both had our holiday, so I opened mine up when we got back from our holiday, and it was really nice to know that I had that to open up. It was really fun and it was lovely. So I'll do a little video of all the fun items that Malene popped in for me, but it was really sweet. So I'm really looking forward to adding these lovely yarns into my patchwork blanket. And the pattern that I use for my patchwork blanket, I use, what's it called? The Patchwork Recipe. I think it's called the Patchwork. It's all linked into my Ravelry project page for it, and it's by Martine Makes. There's a few different ways that I think it depends on how you do your central decreases, but there's different ways that you can do them. Basically it's a mitered square, but that's the pattern that I use for my one. It's a free pattern, and yeah, I love the basket. I am so happy with it. They also had a little smaller size, which I'm tempted to get next year, because the place that we went, we had been there previously last year, and it's just beautiful. The location where it is, it's right on the sea. The staff are really friendly. It's lovely. The food is lovely. It's perfect. The children love it. And this little shop was just at the top of the hill, and they had little smaller sizes, which I thought would be brilliant for socks. So I'm thinking maybe, hopefully, if they're still there next year, I might get one, bring another one back. And I know I mentioned earlier about the Patreon, but I've just put up this week's video is a holiday video. So it's all the little clips that I've recorded about whilst we've been on holiday. So have a look if you want to go over. You can see how it was over there, over in Cyprus. It was beautiful. The weather was so warm. The sea was beautiful. We had such a lovely time. I have been and grabbed the other finished object. I can't find the other one that I wanted to show you. I've got 2 socks and I've got a partial finished object. The other socks that I have finished and I cannot find anywhere were Jessie's socks from the previous episode. They were the really nice, fun, teal, fuchsia-y. They were really bright coloured, and they had, I think I did the shadow wrap heel on that one for Jessie. So I haven't unfortunately got them here to show you, but they are finished. They're probably somewhere in the depths of her bedroom. I've got 2 pairs of socks to show you. They look very different from one another, don't they? I've got this lovely pair, which were my Lunar Lovegood socks. You would have seen these, I think, had I done one of them? And then was I halfway through the other one? I can't remember now, but I love the colours of this yarn. It's so lovely. You can see that I've still got all the bulb stitch markers on them, but they are all sewn in. I've sewn the ends in. I mean, that's the great thing when you knit a pair of socks in just one colour. You've only got 2 ends to sew in, but they're all done. Just vanilla sock. And for the heel, I did a heel flap turn, gusset decreases, and just a normal wedge toe. They are done. So I need to take the stitch markers off them. And then these fun, colourful socks. Oh, I just love them. I literally just want to run and get some yarn and cast on another pair. I decided I wanted to knit a tonal in between a speckled or variegated coloured yarn, and I think I've done a good job, don't you? Do you like them? Look how fun they are. I've got my cuff. Deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, let's hope there's no more interruptions. That's the thing with it being the summer holidays, which I don't think I've said, but it's the summer holidays. And it's really difficult to film a podcast and try not have the interruptions, so there. I think that's about right. Anyway, I was being very over enthusiastic about my socks, wasn't I? If you couldn't already tell. What was I saying about them? I think I was showing you a close-up, which I will do. I have literally just done, I've done a vanilla sock, 2x2 rib for the cuff, and then for the leg, for each colour, I have done 8 rounds. And then I've done a heel flap turn, gusset decreases, wedge toe, and that's it. I am going to try and see if I've got all the yarns left over. I don't think I've got enough of some of them, but I would just love to make Jessie a little pair, a little matching pair. Who knew scrappy socks was so much fun? I don't really knit scrappy socks, but let me tell you, a lot more scrappy socks are definitely going to be on the needles. And another thing which I haven't mentioned, I have now gone down a needle size with my socks, which I can't believe, but I am now knitting my socks on a 2.25. And I much prefer the gauge that they're coming out, the fabric itself, it just feels a bit more snug and not so loose. The socks keep their shape better. They just sit and stay on my feet better. So just by going down 2.25, it's funny how your tension can change over the years, can't it? So right, let me come up for another close-up before we get interrupted again. The only person, well, she's not even a person, she's an animal for starters, that hasn't interrupted us yet is Molly. But I think she's asleep upstairs. Yeah, look at them. Oh, isn't they beautiful? I mean, you can't really, well, you don't really say socks are sexy, are they? But I think these are sexy socks. I have one more finish object, but like I keep saying, it's a partial finish object. And that is finally, ta-da! Who remembers the Battenburg squares, the panels that I kept saying I was going to make into a cushion cover for my mum's birthday, for her Christmas, and then it was Mother's Day, and then I just kept putting it aside and just, yeah, kept casting on new projects and not finishing them. But I finally got it to the point where I just need to add some button loops on, and it is literally a job that I can sit down of an evening and do. It is literally going to take like not even half an hour. It shouldn't take long at all for me to do it. But here it is. And this will be for my mum's birthday in August, and it is going to be for her birthday this year, which is really nice, and I think she will absolutely love it. So on the front here, I have got the traditional style of the Battenburg, where I've used a coloured speckled tonal yarns, and then in between I've got the not tonal, sorry, I've got the coloured yarns, the coloured squares, and then I have like the solid tonal yarn, which I can't remember what it was now. There is a project page, I'm almost sure, for this one on Ravelry. It was definitely a Drops, I think it was Drops Nord, I think, and it was in the 01 colour. And on the back I had some squares left over. I couldn't decide whether or not to have both the same front and back, but I decided on doing it a little bit different, and plus it means, you know, my mum can have it, it's double-sided then. And I have made a grid of 3x3 squares, and then I've done a really lovely granny square border, I guess, around it, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It is so nice. I got the cushion pad from Dunelm, and it is a feathered one, so it's nice and plump. The buttons that I've got are going to be perfect, and I've just got to do the buttons now, and I'm going to use, I've got some really lovely wooden buttons that came in my advent calendar from Catherine, Bed of Roses, and I think they will just be perfect. They'll look beautiful, and let me show you close up. Really happy with it. For the joining, all I did was, if I take it off, I have sewn most of the ends in on one of the panels, but not all of them on the other one. So I've turned it inside out just to show you. So this side, you can see I've sewn them in. This side, I still need to do that. But I put right sides together, and then I did right sides together, and then I just did a double crochet, which is UK terms. I think US you call it a single crochet, and just join them together that way. And so it's no seam, so it doesn't have like a bumpy seam, if that makes sense. That's how I've done it. So there you go, so that's that one. So I will get that one finished this week, hopefully. I am going to move on to Happy Mail. Some of the yarns here I have had a while, but I've been keeping them to one side because in my head, I had planned to do a podcast last month actually, but I'll chat about that now. Yeah, I'll just chat about it now. I'm not going to go into detail or anything like that, but sadly my gran passed away, and it was a little bit of a shock, but then it wasn't. She'd been poorly for quite some time. She had been living with and dealing with, bless her, Alzheimer's, dementia, and it's such a cruel disease. And to see her deteriorate it's really sad and upsetting. It really is. And I had been to visit her. She was in a home. There's so many different emotions, because I felt a bit of relief in the sense that she wasn't suffering anymore, but obviously in the next part, you know, she's my gran. I don't think I can talk about it for a minute. I think I'm just going to end up crying and I won't be able to film the rest of the podcast. Anyway, bless her. So I was going to film a podcast, I think I had a week off from work and I'd planned to do a podcast, and the day or so before I planned to film was when I received the sad news that she'd passed away, and then I wasn't in the right frame of mind to do it then. And so life has been really busy since then. I do have my Patreon channel, so when I've had my time, I've used my time to create the content for the Patreon channel, but still in the back of my mind, I've really wanted to film podcasts, and you know, I have 3 children, I work 3 days a week, life's busy, it really is busy. So, you know, I really appreciate people who spend the time to make, you know, YouTube videos that they put out there, and it's valuable time, you know, and I know we decide to do that, absolutely, but yeah, so apologies that the podcast has been a lot longer than I wanted it to be before I filmed the next one. But the yarns, I kind of went off on one then. I was going to chat about my gran in the little life update, but it kind of just felt the right time to do it. But the yarns that are here, I have had them for a little while, but I've been keeping them together because I was mindful that I wanted to show them when I did come around to filming the next podcast. But if you are a Patreon viewer of mine, you would have seen these. Well, I think you definitely would have seen these 3. You wouldn't have seen this one and the other one. I'm going to show you these 3 yarns first, and I'm going to do that because they've all got one thing in common, which is Taylor Swift. And we went to watch Taylor Swift back in June. That seems like it was so long ago, but it was only last month. And we went to London, Wembley. I cried. as soon as she came out on stage, I don't know where, it might have been a bit of emotion anyway, because the week that we went was the week that I'd found out about my gran. But yeah, I literally cried my eyes out when she came out on stage. So these yarns that I've got, these two here and the one in the bag, are Taylor Swift inspired. So the first one is a sock set, and this is from Dandelion and Dogwood, and it's called Afterglow, and 100 gram skein with two 20 gram minis. They're going to be socks. I think they're all going to be socks, if I'm honest. The next one is by Spectrum Fibre, and this came out with the release of Taylor Swift's new album, which I wrote down here because I keep getting it wrong. I think it's my age and my brain. So this came out with the Tortured Poets Society. I keep saying the Dead Poets Society or something like that. And then Jamie said to me, you do realise that what you're referencing a movie, like a really old movie or something with Robin, is it Robin Williams? Was he in it or something? Which really made me chuckle. It was like a real cringy mum moment. I didn't, yeah. So I've had to write down the Tortured Poets Department, not the Dead Poets Society. Anyway, so this one is called Alchemy, and look at the colours. And on here is a really cute little progress keeper and of a typewriter. The third skein of yarn has come all the way from America. Jamie went over to America for work, and I had to look, obviously, where he was staying, if there was any yarn shops nearby, and there was. And the shop is called Warm in Fuzzy, and it was in North Carolina, and I think, is it called Carrie, I think, maybe. This is the shop's logo. I think the fridge is now kicked in, so you might be able to hear the fridge. And she popped in some stickers, and I think Jamie picked up some stickers for me as well. There's that really fun one there, which is the shop's logo. I've got Knit Happens. The yarn that he picked up was another Taylor Swift one, and this one is called Love Story, and it's by Ruby and Roses, and it's a 100 gram skein with a 20 gram mini, and it feels so squishy and soft and plump. I can't believe that it's 4-ply. That's how plump it feels, how squishy. Like, if there was like a squishometer, this would be like, yeah, at the bing, 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 really squishy. 85, so it's an 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon. And I'm thinking socks. I'm thinking socks for all of these. Socks. Let me pop them away. Two more sock yarns to show you. So I've got this one here, which is by Homespun House, and Molly has a really fun sock club that she's running this year, and each month she picks a selection of Harry Potter characters, and each skein is inspired by each character. So this one is Happy Birthday Harry. I had to get Happy Birthday Harry, and the club is called Happy Birthday Hogwarts. The label, oh my, I love the label. I love it so much. I can't wait to put that in my journal. It looks gorgeous. So This is really plump as well and really squishy. Molly's sock base is beautiful. Her soft sock is such a delight to knit with, and how the yarn feels when you're knitting through your fingers. It feels, especially how I hold my yarn, feels really lovely to work with. So this is a 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon, and look at the colours. The speckles in these are amazing. And I know Robert's been dyeing lots of the yarn as well. And I can't wait to cast these on. I have been keeping this one because this is gonna be my cast on for the 1st of September, which is the start of Hogwarts. So that is gonna be a September cast on. I'm gonna cast it on and I'm gonna rewatch all of the Harry Potters. That is the plan. So I've got that skein there. And then my final one that I wanted to show you was the lovely yarn that was in my swap package by Malene. And this is by Mayflower Premium Sock Wool. I've never knitted with this yarn before, and we decided we wanted to swap commercial yarns, and I sent Malene some West Yorkshire spinners. Oh, what was the other one? It might have been a Stylecraft one, I can't remember now. But I know Malene did pop a picture over on her Instagram of the package, and keep a lookout for her podcast because she might show it on one of her podcast episodes. But this one is called Ocean Series. There you go. That is all of the new yarns that I've been squirreling and, you know, keeping together to show you. I'm now gonna go into books. Let's do books and then we'll do TV. I have got a selection of books. I'm mindful of how long the episode is, but you know, if you've been watching me for a while, I said I was gonna try and keep today's episode to about half an hour. Yeah, that isn't going to happen. As you can probably see, it's not going to happen. I'm hoping, because it's been such a long time between the previous episode, it's just more to share on that first one back. But with regular, if I can get myself, you know, organised and, you know, film them regularly, they won't be as long then. But I know lots of you like a longer podcast anyway, don't you? Okay. I'm going to chat to you about these books. First up, let's have a look at my notes. So I've got here books that I've recently finished. Crown of Midnight and the Twisted Love series. I finished book 1 of that one. And I've got the second one on my Kindle for that one. And I think it's called Twisted Games. And I'm currently reading book 3 of the Throne of Glass series, which is called Heir of Fire. I'm halfway through that one. And I've got the Maid. And I'm literally 30 minutes away from finishing an audiobook called The Daughters of Warsaw. And that's it. I did, however, let me start this one on holiday. I took it on holiday with me, and I only read that much. We got to page 70 and I had to put it down because I was finding it a bit boring and a bit slow, if I'm honest, which was really disappointing because there's so much hype about this book, and I am gonna pick it up again. I definitely want to give it another go, but I just felt like there was just so much detail. And there was just so much about it that I just felt it was a little bit unnecessary, and I just felt like it was taking so long to just like get into it. I think for me as a reader, and we all obviously like different types of books, but I'm very much like, I need a book to, within the first chapter or two at least, to really like grab me in and you know, get me wanting to literally not put the book down. You know, when you always hear people say, oh, I couldn't put it down. I'll put that down easily. I'll put it down more than a few times before I had to pick it up again. So let me know I know some of you have probably read it and said you absolutely loved it, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed, a bit sad about that one, if I'm honest. So I'm glad that I did take my Kindle with me. So I was carrying on reading the Heir of Fire. So there's that. And then on holiday in our hotel, they had some books there for guests to take, borrow, and I picked these up. I could not believe when I saw, look, that was the next one that I was planning on reading, The Assassin's Blade. So I could not believe that I saw that one there. I was chuffed to bits when I saw that. And if I was a quick enough reader, obviously I would read these and pop them back on the bookshelf. But the good thing about knowing that I'm going back next year is the books that I want to pass on, I normally pass on to a charity shop or to family or friends if I know that that's the type of book they'd like to read. But if there's any books between now and next year, I'm gonna at least take a couple over to replace the ones that I took. But it's nice to think that I'm putting them back in somewhere that I've borrowed them from. I know, depending on where you live, I had to go and change the battery. I think I was chatting about little community book areas, I think I was saying, wasn't I? I've seen before books in telephone boxes. They look really cool. We have a cabinet which is at the end of our road in the grounds of a church, which is really nice. And where else have I seen them? It's quite creative, the different places or what people have used to put books in, which is really nice. Let me know if you've got something similar to that. I think the telephone boxes are probably the most common that I've seen. So yes, so those were the two that I have most recently got, and I will add them to my bookcase. And then this one my mother-in-law passed on to me, and this is another Frida McFadden. You all know I really love reading her books, and I think on the previous episode I was reading Never Lie, or I'd finished reading that one, and this one is The Inmate, and I'm almost sure, I haven't brought it here, but I'm almost sure she did pass another one to me. It's either called The Teacher or The Co-worker. I can't remember now, but I got her onto Frida McFadden and she's been loving them. So when she's finished, it's ideal because she buys them, and then when she's finished reading them, she passes them on to me, which is brilliant. So let me know if you've read any of these books. And I need to update my Goodreads because I'm currently 5 books behind schedule. Oh dear. So I need some catching up to do. Recently, with everything that's gone on, I got into a little bit of, I lost my crafting mojo, and I even lost a bit of my reading mojo, if I'm honest with you. But it's coming back now, and yeah, I'm sure it won't take me long to catch up on my reading and just getting some little projects finished. So, but anyway, so that's the end of the book chat. And for TV, we have watched the part 1 of the new series of Cobra Kai. They're now on their 6th series, and part 1 came out whilst we were on holiday, so we finished that. We all watched it. We love watching it. Jessie didn't watch it, but in the afternoons, Jessie was having a little nap because obviously we were out a lot longer and the heat makes you tired. So while she was napping, we were watching the Cobra Kai series. So we watched part 1. I have been watching House of the Dragon, which is a prequel to Games of Thrones. I have loved watching that series, and I had one episode to watch whilst I was on holiday, so when I came back I caught up with that one, and I think there's just one more episode left of that series. They're on their 2nd series now, but I'm loving it. It's so good. And a series which I have not watched but has recently come out with, I think their 2nd series now, is Rings of Power. So let me know if you've been watching any of those series and if you like to watch them. Rings of Power is, if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, I'm sure you probably already know about it anyway, but that one is on Prime, and there was another one on Prime that I wanted to read, that I wanted to watch, and I think it was called Lady Jane. I think it was. But the Games of Thrones, the Cobra Kai is on Netflix, and House of the Dragon is on Sky Atlantic, I think. But yeah, I've been enjoying them, and we are off to the cinema later on this evening to watch the Twisters. Is it called Twisters? I want to say Twister because I loved that film, which I'm sure that was like back in the 90s, wasn't it? Was it 90s? With Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton? I think it was 90s. Maybe it was late 90s, early 2000s, but we're off to watch that later. I can't wait. Everyone that I've seen mention it or share it on Instagram have said they've really enjoyed that film, so we want to watch that. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I've already had a chat with you about my gran. She was such a big inspiration to me for my crafting. She was always sewing when I grew up because she was a trained seamstress, so she used to work for Jaeger, and she'd always make lots of my clothes. She was the first person to show me knitting, but sadly I didn't enjoy it or get into it as a child. My tension was always so tight and I always used to get frustrated. But I used to love sitting in her sewing room and just listening to the sound of her sewing machine. Those are lovely memories that I've got and I will cherish forever. But I'm just so grateful that when I think of crafting in general, I always think of her. And she used to love looking at all my knitting, all my crochet. Yeah, it was really lovely to be able to share all those projects with her. So sadly, I have tried my hand at sewing and making clothes, but it's not something that I can say that I'm confident at doing anyway. But yeah, so what else have we been up to? So we've been on holiday. Oliver has finished his GCSEs, which is really good. Nice that he's got a nice break now and he can relax. I think the results come out in a couple weeks' time, I think. What else? I don't think I wrote much down actually, even though I felt like I had lots to share with you and tell you. Patreon's going really well, and like I said at the beginning, there's a 7-day trial over there if you want to pop over and have a look. That is it. We are at the end of the episode, so thank you so much if you have taken the time to sit and watch and listen to me jibber jabber on about all the things, and I will see you in the next episode. So take care everyone, bye.